Okay, so last class we talked about that that Bloom taxonomy and Washington Accords and NBA guideline. Okay. Now, how to implement this NBA guideline means what is required by the NBA or Washington Accords, that we have to develop the skill, certain skill among the students. So, I have to implement in classroom. How to implement it? And last one is that in first lecture I have said that we want a teaching learning process, or 21st century wants a teaching learning process by which we can how to improve the student engagement, how to develop the skill, not knowledge. Not only I am not meaning the knowledge means wisdom, I think knowledge means remembering, not that things. How to modify the curriculum continuously, how to teach a large classroom, how to develop the lifelong learning, and how the examination system is reinforce the teaching and learning. So, if I want to do that things and if I want to implement Washington Accords or NBA guideline in classroom teaching, what should I do? The approach by which we can achieve all these things, I said I will answer each and every issue which I raise, how to increase engagement, student engagement. So, the approach or teaching learning process we can adopt, which is called outcome based education. It is not that curriculum design, I have to design the curriculum in outcome based, but it also includes the pedagogy, which is called self learning pedagogy, by which we can address those issues which I have raised in day 1, and I can you can say I can implement or I can ensure that NBA and Washington Accords is implemented in classroom, not is in pen and paper. So, what is that outcome based education? What kind of framework? So, here we propose a framework or teaching learning process should we adopt to do that things. So, before I go to that, first we understand what is outcome based learning. What is outcome based learning? If I define from the philosophy, I show you a pictures, Alice in the Wonderland. Everybody knows that pictures and everybody knows the philosophy. What the philosophy said? That a girl standing on a junction of path, he asks the cat, which path should I take? Cat's reply, where you want to go? Girl said, I don't know. Then cat's reply, anywhere you can go, any path you can take, does not matter. Until unless you know your goal, where you want to reach, any path, anything does not matter. So, outcome based learning, that means if I am not clear why I am learning, I am not clear why I am doing this thing, then how can I say that I have learned that things? I can give an example. Suppose you want to, there is 2 driving school. One is written that if you come to my school, you will learn how to drive a car in the road, and you will learn what is the function of the clutch, you learn what is the function of the brake, all those things is written. And another school is written, at the end of the course, you will be able to drive a 4-wheeler on this kind of road. Which one is preferred? Last one is preferred, because last one goal is, outcome is defined. Outcome is that I want to drive a car on the road. So, outcome based learning define the goal. Once I know the goal, I can know, I can define path, by which path I can reach the goal. Same philosophy is there in our ancient culture also. If you see that, in my opinion, that if you remember the Aglobo, what is the role of teachers and students? If you see that the teachers is defined, once the Arjuna is learning, Dronacharya only defined the goal. And Eklavya, what kind of goal is Dronacharya defined? Once he see the goal, he practiced by its own to achieve the goal. So, unless goal is defined, your learning is nowhere. So, if I say that today, what is the role of the teachers? I am not talking about the school education, I am talking about that adult, when the learner is responsible. That means, teacher will define the goal, you have to reach here as per the slides. If you see that, teacher is defining the goal and role of the student is to reach the goal. So, it is said, it is student responsibility once the goal is decided, once the outcome is decided, it is a student responsibility to reach the goal. So, it is said learning is learner responsibility, not teacher responsibility. Then what is the role of the teachers? If I say that as a teacher I define the goal, as a student I have to reach the goal. So, learning is learner responsibility. Whether I reach the goal or not, it is my responsibility. Who is learning? Like that our ancient guru. Our ancient gurus said that nobody said that I will take you to the God. They said I will show you the path by which you can reach to the God. So, what is the role of the teacher? This philosophy, that the role of the teacher is to guide the student to reach the goal. Guide and mentor the student to reach the goal. So, once I define the goal, then learner knows where I have to reach, and the teacher role is to show him the different path and guide him so that he can or she can reach the goal. So, role of the teachers is to guide and mentor the students, motivate, mentor the students to reach the goal. Why I am saying this outcome based learning is effective? Because today in practice, unless a student come to my class, he does not know what he is supposed to do at the end of the class. So, he loses motivation to studying beforehand. But if you say, before he join my class, if I define the goal precisely, I will come to how to define the goal, that is a process. So, if I define the goal precisely and give it to the student before he come to my class, then I told him that to reach the goal is your responsibility. I am here to guide you and mentor you to reach the goal. And I will show you a framework by which student can try by his own to reach the goal, and I will show you how it is catered to all the questions which I raised in first class. So, learning is learner responsibility. So, in outcome based education, the role of the teacher is to guide and mentor the students. So, it is not what teacher teaches, it is important what learner learn, because at the end of the course, at the end of the journey, learner has to reach the goal, not teacher. Once the learner reaches the goal, my journey is end. So, that is why it is not what teacher will teach, it is what learners learn. So, I am saying that I am not teaching in the class, I am guiding and mentor the students to reach their defined goal. So, role of the teacher is to define the goal and provide the path by which a learner can reach the goal. This process is called outcome based learning. Now, if I say I have to define the goal, Now, if the goal is not achievable, goal is not specific and goal is not measurable, a learner cannot reach the goal. So, a learner will reach the goal if the goal is specific, measurable and achievable. So, role of the teacher or role of the curriculum design, outcome based curriculum design is that how do you define the goal? It is called outcome based curriculum design. So, that depends on the requirement of skill at the end of the course or program. So, if I want to open a driving school, at the end of the program, I want a learner should able to drive a car in the road, maybe the condition of the road is given. So, it is not that what I teach is matter, it is matter what learner has delivered at the end of the course. That is why it is called learner centric approach, not teacher centric approach. It is not depends what I will teach in the class. I may not teach in the class, but if the learner is achieve its goal, then my purpose is solved. So, many people are objecting that students are not coming in the class. If they reach the goal, I do not bother whether they come in the class or not, but it is to ensure that every learner is achieve the goal. So, as a teacher, I will motivate the students, I will guide the students, I will mentor the student to reach the goal. So, design of the goal, specify the goal which is specific, measurable and achievable term is called outcome based curriculum design. Provide the mentor and guide and provide the path to reach the goal is the role of the teachers. It is called teaching learning process. So, if we see outcome based education address this key question, what do you want the student able to do? So, the goal is the target of the students. This is what. How can you best help student to achieve it, which is called guide or mentor. Then I have to ensure the student, I have to evaluate whether the student is reached the goal, that means he has that skill or not. So, how to know the students is achieved the goal is called evaluation. Then how to close the loop. Suppose I define a goal here and I provide a path and guide and mentor the students, and I found that in my class 80% of the students not achieve a specific goal. That means either this goal which I have defined is not achievable, or the path the guide which I am providing or path which I am providing is not correct to achieve the goal. So, the path, guide, mentoring of the teaching learning process, either this process is wrong or this goal is wrong. That is called how the examination system reinforce the teaching and learning. Okay. So, outcome based, not only curriculum design, outcome based teaching also. So, outcome based curriculum design is what? It provides the set of goal which minimum set of skill is required for the particular program. So, if I say the B.Tech program or 4-year graduate program as per NBA guideline or Washington records, that means set of outcome, set of skill set which I required at the end of the program is already defined by 12 parameters. So, out of the 12, 5 are domain dependent and 7 are domain independent skill. So, those skills are already outline of the skill are defined, which is called PO or PSO. If it is domain dependent, those part is called PSO, program specific outcome. If it is domain independent, I can say it is directly PO. Based on that, if it is civil engineer, they have to learn the skill of design, analysis, synthesis and evaluation level. So, that will come in later on. So, that level of the skill is defined. Once the level of the skill is defined, that means I can design the curriculum based on the requirement. Once my curriculum goal is designed, it's given to every student before they join the curriculum. So, the question I have raised, that if I brought a camera or brought a TV, we can see the specification of it. Now, if I design the curriculum that way, then I can see, I know that what this is the program, this is the skill set I will develop. So, a student know, a parents know, a society know at the end of the curriculum what the students will able to do. Industry knows what the students of institute A, program B will able to do. So, that is outcome based curriculum design. How to do that is a process which is use Bloom taxonomy and instructional system design, which will details cover during this course. Okay. So, how to achieve this kind of approach? See this structure. So, what I said, this process, if you see up to this process, I will show you in the pen. Up to this process, up to this part, this first part, mission, vision, program, program specific outcome and course outcome are the part of curriculum. Okay. And the question which I raised, that most of the time we said that our course is outdated. So, if you see, the industry role is attached with this design. I will demonstrate this framework which is implemented in a software framework at the end of this maybe 2 weeks lectures, and everybody will do that curriculum design within that things. So, that I will demonstrate later on. So, first let us go through the structures, what is there. Now, most of you are knowing about NBA document writing and Washington records or accreditation writing, and this structure is follows as per the accreditation, and also if you follow this structure ensure that you are achieving what I said in the first lecture, increase the student engagement, skill development, program continuous evaluation of the framework, all kinds of things. So, how do you do it? If you say it, I said mission and vision statement, I will explain this will later on, I will also explain how to write mission vision statement, what do you mean by program educational outcome, what is program specific and what is the matrix matching. So, all those things I will describe later on. Let us start with the course. What I said, outcome based curriculum design for effective teaching, where it is. So, if you see, let us start from the course outcome. I am not explaining those things I will explain later on. So, let us start from the course outcome. So, course outcome, that means at the end of the course what student will able to do. So, at the end of the course, if a student will able to do A, B, C, D, then those are the course outcome. So, what I said, if I design my course, forget about that upper part, that will come later on. I want to teach effectively in the class. So, what is my duty is that I will develop a curriculum, course curriculum, which content first is course outcome. What is course outcome? If I say course, let us analog electronics. So, analog electronics is a course student have a in mind. If I attend the course analog electronics, what kind of skill I will develop? So, I have to write down this skill set, 5 to 6 skill set, not that you should know what is, you should be able to describe the push pull amplifier is a course outcome, is not acceptable, because if you see the NBA and Washington Accords never said student will able to describe something. They said they should able to design, they should able to formulate, they should able to solve, they should able to conduct investigation. So, there is nothing called describe, define for a graduate engineer. So, this course is designing for a graduate engineer. If it is designed for a let us ITI engineer, that maybe I require only description. So, let us course is called AC machine. So, in ITI engineering I will teach, I will show the how AC machine is work. But in B engineering, if I same thing is my course outcome, nobody will take this course, because this course only taught or only expect the student will be able to describe the operation of AC machine, which is not the desired skill level of a B engineer or B Tech engineer. So, I have to write down that course outcome, 5 to 6 major course outcome in higher cognitive level. I will come again what is cognitive level, all kinds of things. So, once I define the outcome, then what is required? A student has to achieve this outcome. If he achieve it, then I can assign his competence, that yes, the student X has skill 1 is okay, skill 2 is okay, skill 3 level is this, skill 4 is not achieved. So, I can define his skill, that is evaluation. So, the evaluation is based on criteria, because criteria is defined by the skill. So, the evaluation class you will see what is criteria based evaluation, what is norm reference based evaluation. Now, what is the role of the teachers? Once the outcome is defined, role of the teachers is teaching learning process. How student will achieve this outcome? I have to mentor, guide and encourage the students to achieve the outcome. Periodically I have to check also whether they are following right path or not. So, teaching learning process, I am not delivering the material, I am saying those are the outcome which is defined, and everybody's aim is to reach that outcome. And as a teaching learning process, I will guide and mentor the student to reach the outcome. Okay. Now, if I say how the course is designed, if you see it, I will not explaining this, all slides are written down. So, if I see original structure of the course document should be like this. Before a students come to the class, whole document should be available to the students. So, what is there? Course outcome is there, course overview there, course level test item is there. What is test item? Means if you write a course outcome A, if I say that I have achieved this outcome, how do I test that I have achieved the outcome? Okay. So, that is called course level test item. So, every outcome must be assigned or linked with a test item by which a student can test whether he achieved the outcomes or not. What is course overview? Course overview is not only the coverage of the course, but also how do you motivate the student to learn this course or to achieve the outcome that is available. Then a course is divided in some module. So, suppose a course in digital communication. So, first module may be A to D conversion. So, once the course is divided in module, so every module must have module outcome, module overview, again module level test item. What is test item? Once I write the outcome, this is my outcome, this is my destination, then I have to say how do I test whether I have reached the destination or not. That is called test item. So, if this destination is linked with the test item, once I able to solve this test item, then I can say I have achieved the destination. So, this pedagogy involved in this structure is called self-learning pedagogy. So, I will describe what is document means. So, this document is available to the students. Once this document is available to the students, then students know their goal, students know their goal. Once they know their goal, and there is module learning strategy, know their path by which they have to reach the goal, and they can test by themselves whether they have reached the goal or not. So, if the whole structured document is available to the student, I will show you the software framework, how it is available, how industry can give the feedback, all kinds of things I will show you. So, once this is available to the students, I am encouraging the self-learning. Once this is available to the students, they can learn by their own studying, because I have in first class I said that reaching the goal is your responsibility. I will be here only mentor and guide you. Now, Washington Accords and NBA said that yes, you have to nurture not only the domain level skill, but also domain independent skill. How do I do it? So, domain level skill is, yes, while I am teaching a AC machine course, domain skill is developing. Goal is there and path is given. So, domain skill is developing. But how do I ensure the domain independent skill like communication skill, teamwork, all ethics in sustainability and all project management and lifelong learning, all are happening? Because if this document is given to the students in beginning, then what I am doing? I am encouraging self-learning, I am providing the responsibility of the students learn by their own, and in the class, if I only discuss instead of providing a lecture whether they are following the correct path or not, actually I am developing the communication skill. So, next lecture I will first show you the framework in that website structures, and then I explain each and every item of the framework. Then what I will do, after describing the framework, you know what is required. Then how to do it is the theory. So, that part I will start from the next lecture. Okay? So, the next lecture I am only describing the framework, and I am describing how this will affect or how this will help whatever the questions I raised in the first class. So, that is outcome, what is outcome based curriculum and everything you know. Okay? So, thank you.